Hello foolish mortals, Kat here. I have a vlog for you today of opening day at Disneyland since the closure over a year ago. We went April 30th, the first official day of opening. I know there were some preview days for cast members a little bit earlier in the week, but we went the official opening for everyone day. And Dean and I are both vaccinated, and we, were masked up the whole time, did sanitization, and it actually honestly felt safer than even going to the grocery store. I really enjoyed my experience, which is saying a lot because I had a lot of anxiety and thought about canceling my tickets multiple times because I have a problem even going to the grocery store. I've been really strict this whole panoramic, this whole time, and I finally decided to just, leave my comfort zone a little bit, treat myself after a year of stress, and I have no regrets. I actually really enjoyed myself. So I figured I would just tell you guys what to expect and talk over. I didn't really film a vlog like I would usually film because I was just trying to live in the moment and enjoy myself and get our money's worth of those tickets, because not being annual pass holders is hard, let me tell you. But I decided to do a little talk over of that, voiceover of what to expect, what it was like, what was different for you guys. So let's just get started with that. So you have to buy your tickets and then you have to make a reservation. Do not just go because you bought tickets, because a lot of people I've noticed later were getting turned away. There's been multiple stories in some of the Disney groups that I'm in of people thinking that buying tickets got you in, but buying tickets does not get you in. You buy your tickets and then you have to make a reservation for the day that you want to go and the park that you want to go, depending on what ticket tier style you got. Dean and I got the 2-day tickets because when you get the 2-day tickets, it's basically a tier 5, which means you can book any day you want for any park you want, and these are not park hoppers that we got. So we only went to Disneyland on the 30th, and then on the 6th we are going to go to DCA for the whole day because I figured it'd be better just to explore. And I also knew that we were kind of out of shape after this whole panoramic and we would not be able to do back-to-back days. And let me tell you, I am dying. I'm sunburnt, my feet are sore. I couldn't handle back-to-back days, and I'm glad that I separated those out a little bit. But yeah, getting into the park was easy. Parking was super fast. We actually checked in to the park at 9:10. I didn't want to get there before opening. I know that the parking lots opened at 6, but I didn't want to be in that line and that crowd. I didn't want to be around that many people that early in the morning, so I stayed home. We live pretty close to the park, so it didn't take that long to get there. At 7 a.m. I was sitting in the comfort of my own home and ended up getting our boarding passes for Rise of the Resistance. So that was pretty easy. We were group 67. I think we ended up riding around 1:30. And then we just drove to the parks, parked. Paying $25 for parking sucks, but when you're on an annual pass holder, you don't get that perk anymore, I guess. It makes me so sad. Okay, anyways, we ended up parking on Donald, which was really nice because Donald is my favorite of the main Disney cast, and I was that's the only time I really got teary. Even when we walked in and we're on Main Street for the first time, which is my favorite part of Disney, I didn't cry, but I did get a little teary parking on Donald because I always think it's a special day when I get to park on the Donald floor of the parking garage. I know, I'm weird. Okay. So before you even get to the security, you get your temperature checked, and then once you get into security, there's the normal going through bags and walking through the metal detectors, and then there's no tram, so you have to walk all the way to the parks from the parking garage, which sucks, especially on the way home at night because your feet are sore, you're tired, if you have kids, they're probably asleep, so you're carrying them, you know what I mean. It's horrible. Definitely want the tram to come back. I bet there's a way. I know that it probably takes longer and it would be a huge pileup of people at the tram area because of social distancing for that, which would probably suck. But once you finally make that long walk and you get there, check-in was super fast. There was no line. They just scanned our tickets, got us in. You have to be a SoCal resident to go right now. I mean, not SoCal. You have to be a California resident to go right now. They do ask for proof of identification, so definitely, don't book if you're from out of state. We'll all hate you. I'm just telling you that right now. But yeah, so we got in easy, made it down Main Street. There was really no crowds. 25% capacity is amazing. It's insane. there were times when we just didn't see anybody. We'd be in areas and it was like completely empty. There were times when it would be a little bit busier, and then there would be times when there was like no one. It was kind of like just come and go kind of feeling of busyness, but nothing where I felt like I was too crammed around people. There were too many people touching me. Everybody really stayed apart from each other in their groups, which was really nice. And everyone wore masks. I only saw 2 girls when we were coming down the escalator, but they got yelled at by 3 different cast members and put their masks on like right away. And then everybody else was wearing their mask properly through the whole day, except for when eating, because of course you don't have to wear your mask. And then as far as like social distancing went, like all of the ride queues had like clear markers of where you could stand, so you separated from people. The rides themselves have plexiglass between parties, or you know, you get the whole ride vehicle to yourself, or if it's small parties, there's like one party at the very front of like the pirate's ship and then one party at the very back. Same with Small World. It was very separated, felt very safe. It was really nice, and everyone wears the mask the whole time, and even if you weren't wearing your mask in the ride, you would get yelled at. I think it only happened once. In Haunted Mansion, the first time we rode it, there was somebody who was getting yelled at constantly for taking their mask off, but besides that, everyone else was wearing their mask perfectly fine, and it was great. And so as far as rides, everything was basically walk on. We ended up being able to ride Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion twice, the full Disneyland Railroad loop, Big Thunder Mountain twice, Space Mountain, Indiana Jones, Snow White, Small World, Star Tours, Smuggler's Run, Rise of the Resistance, Roger Rabbit, and Gadget Go Coaster. And I don't think I'm missing anything. Almost everything was walk on. The longest wait was for Indiana Jones. It was kind of horrible of a wait too, because it was in the queue for Jungle Cruise, actually, to spread it out more but not take up, because you know Adventureland's like so cramped as is, so they didn't want to like have any of the line going out into the walkways for Adventureland. And it sucked only because it was hot for one, and 2, it stunk so bad because they have the Jungle Cruise drained right now for refurbishment, and it smells terrible, like a sewer, like worse than a sewer. I don't know, it was bad. But even with masks on, you can smell it. It was like so potent. Not a good thing. But other than that, everything was fine, and it was amazing to ride that many rides, because usually Dean and I do not really go for rides. We'll go and ride like maybe 2 of our favorites, or if anything's a walk on as we're walking by. But we won't wait in lines. We go really just to eat and maybe watch some shows, and for me to see Rapunzel and Donald. Those are my 2 things that I always have to do. So yeah, speaking of dining, it was actually kind of hard to find food. When we tried to do mobile order for food, all of them were like booked out for an hour for the pickup window time, and all of the restaurants were already reservations full. There were barely any of the little carts open that had like snacks and stuff. It was like the one by the Rivers of America and a few popcorn stands here and there. I don't even think it was popcorn. I don't know. It was like a few stands. I didn't see anybody eating churros. I saw a few people eating turkey legs. Yeah, it was really hard to find food. We were actually starving. We only ate once, which is really weird for us because we usually eat a ton. But we ate at Galactic Grill. We got the chicken sandwich with fries, and we got that parfait, the Galaxy parfait that I love. I'm so glad they brought that back because that was a limited edition. And if you don't really like sweets, because I don't really like sweets, I definitely recommend that because it is delicious. It's amazing. I love that parfait so much. I was so happy to see it on the menu again. And dining tables were all spread out very far from each other. All the designated dining, like seating benches, were spread out very far from each other. I never felt uncomfortably close with anybody. There were sanitization stations outside of every ride, and there were hand wash stations by every dining area. I hope they keep the hand wash stations, honestly, because I'm always super sticky after eating at Disneyland, and it felt like really nice to be able to just like go wash my hands and like wash off my utensils, because I always bring my own utensils. And yeah, it was great. We had a little bit of a problem with the sipper we got from Ronto Roasters. Like, it took forever. That was a longer wait than we waited for anything. Even they wouldn't let us like walk in to order. We had to do mobile order. But then while we were waiting for a mobile order, even though we checked in that we were there, they were like processing our order, like, oh, we're preparing your order now. We're preparing your. That took forever, and they actually let people walk in and order ahead of us, and all we were getting was a drink. So we started to get kind of irritated while we were We were like, it's hot, we just want to drink. You made us mobile order, but now you're not making these other people mobile order. And then when we got our drink, my sipper leaked everywhere, like sticky Tatooine sunset all over me. It was horrible. It was a miserable experience, but we were already walking down to Galactic Grill to pick up our actual food order that we were waiting for. I just wanted the damn sipper. Sipper leaked. We returned to the sipper. They gave us another one, wouldn't put liquid in it. Like, they gave us our drink on the side. They were like, no, we're not going to put the drink inside it again. That one leaked too, because I filled it just in case, because I was like worried that it would leak. And so we had to go, we were like, well, we'll go to City Hall and get like a refund or something, because clearly this sipper is just not a good sipper. But City Hall was closed, so we couldn't do that. So I've currently contacted them through the website to see what we can do about that. But definitely do not recommend getting the zipper. I just wanted to cover that for anybody who goes and sees that really cute zipper, because it's a hella cute zipper. But if you don't want water dripping down your butt all day, don't get it, because that's what happens. It is not sealed like the Christmas Jingle Bell zippers were. Those are like amazing. They don't leak at all. Alright, so as far as character meet and greets, because if you guys know me, you know I love meeting characters. Donald, Rapunzel, Flynn, those are my baes. I always go to see them. So there's definitely social distancing. I feel like that it's like more than 6 feet. It's more like 12 feet that you can get within the characters, like closeness of them. It felt pretty far away. They have like little markings. You can meet the princesses in the theater in the little fantasy fair area. They had all of the princesses standing out there. They were like rotating through, and you could go and take pictures with them. But they also had like there's like in the fantasy fair main courtyard where Rapunzel's tower is, there's like a little area where you can actually meet the different princesses. They had Elsa and Anna up in that area originally, and so I walked down there because my friends had told me that they were down there, and when I got there it was Rapunzel and Flynn, and it was perfection. Like, I was so happy. This is better than any meet and greet I've ever had with them before. It just felt so like aesthetically pleasing. She had her lantern with her. He was looking up at her in her window, and I loved it. It was so perfect. I didn't actually get to see Donald at all, but we did see Alice by Small World. We saw Winnie the Pooh by Small World, and Eeyore, and I think we saw Goofy, and we saw Pluto and some other people in Toontown, but there was actually nobody in Toontown. Toontown was completely dead. Like, it was so weird to just see adults there and only see a few adults, if anything. And we actually rode rides in there for once because it wasn't insane with children running around screaming. So we got those rides down. We rode a bunch of rides that we don't usually ride. It was a different experience for us at Disneyland, that's for sure, but an enjoyable one still. So there wasn't really that many characters out, but there were still characters out, which I was surprised. Actually, I heard that Jack and Tiana were in the French Quarter area in New Orleans Square, looking over the balconies and talking to people from up in the balconies, and I'm really sad that I missed that because I love seeing Tiana and Jack as well. They're two of my other must-sees when they're out, and I'm really sad I missed that. But there is some footage on TikTok and Instagram stories that I saw of them, so that was pretty exciting. For shopping, all of the shops were kind of like closed off and had like certain entrances and exits that you could go through, and then they were being counted by staff of how many could go in and how many could go out. So we actually didn't do any shopping because I just didn't want to wait in those lines, which weren't really that long, but it was hot. No, actually we went to one shop. We went to the shop in Star Wars Land, which I don't know the name of it because, again, I cannot remember anything with Star Wars. I like it, but I'm not like a super fan or anything. We went in there and it was cool and it was nice, and that was the only time that I didn't really feel social distance. Like, people would like come and stand and look at the stuff that you were looking at, but there were signs everywhere like telling you to social distance, which but there really wasn't like anybody in the shop. Usually that shop's pretty packed, but there wasn't really anybody in it. At the end of the day, though, the line for the Emporium was hella long, and I usually go into the Emporium at the end of the day, and I just skipped that. I went straight down to Downtown Disney instead because I wanted some beignets, because I always get beignets at Jazz Kitchen. Picked those up. Then I cried for the second time of the day, like actual like tears welled in my eyes, because Downtown Disney is like, I don't know, it has some good vibes for me. When I'm like down in that area where Wonderground and Splitsville are, I feel like so like happy and peaceful, especially at night, and the cool breeze blowing on you, and I felt like, oh man, this feels like all of my happy nights with friends, hanging out at Splitsville, or walking into the Grand Californian to go drink at the Hearthstone Lounge. Like, ugh, it gave me some feels. Seeing the dress shop at night all lit up and beautiful. I was really like emotional there for some reason. I think I was also just really tired, very hungry, and just worn out from the day because my shoulders got burnt. My legs are wrecked. But it was overall a really good experience. And if you have any questions about going to the parks, we're going to go to DCA on the 6th, so I'll make sure to film that too. But if you have any questions that I didn't answer in this video, please leave them down in the comments below, or you can message me on Instagram and I'll answer them for you. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to stay spooky. Bye.